over 20 years.
Peter, do you think it's fair to say that, the president has said that al-Qaeda's on the run, and we, along with many others, when that didn't appear to be true, called him out for it? Is it true tonight?
I don't think so. This is significant. I agree with you and the general, but it doesn't mean it's fatal to al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. France has still got a lot of work to do. They're very concerned in France now about potential for attacks in Europe because so many of these folks from informal colonies coming back and forth to France. There's also this Mukhtar Belmokhtar, who was involved in the Algerian gas plant incident that is maybe rising to the fore as the #1 leader for al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb now that Abou Zeid is gone. So prediction is tough, especially about the future, but I'm cautious at this point.
And General Clark, people have been sort of watching the situation in Mali. Everyone was very worried whether the U.S. would have to be involved. France is involved and sort of mired in northern Mali right now and not necessarily leaving and saying they don't know when they're going to be able to leave. Is this problem going to become a sore that the United States has to deal with?
No, I don't think so, but I do think we've got a good, close relationship with French forces there. So we are providing them intelligence support and maybe some logistics support. I think that's really appropriate.
Yeah.
And they need to stay there and finish up the problem. There's no single victory in these fights, and taking out a leader or two helps, but you've got to stay with it and beat the organization down. It's just got a long war against these people.
Peter, there is a magazine. It's an English language magazine. It's called Inspire, and it is a magazine produced by al-Qaeda. Now, this may surprise a lot of people. They have a magazine. They put it out in English. Obviously, they want people in the West to read it. It's got a lot of propaganda articles against the West, how-to articles on how to launch terrorist attacks, create road traffic incidents, torch cars, and kill people. How concerning is this? They now have a new edition out calling for lone wolf attacks across Europe, mass killings like the one we saw in Norway.
Erin, it's been a concern for a long time. In fact, Anwar al-Awlaki, the American-born Yemeni cleric who's now longer with us due to a drone strike, was behind this. And it's something of great concern. You're right. It has articles in there, how to build a bomb in your mom's kitchen, sort of things. And because of the pervasiveness of the Internet, the transnational nature of the Internet, people can become self-radicalized without ever going to a training camp, which makes it very tough for law enforcement and intelligence officials to track them. They can also learn these terrible black arts of the terrorist trade that they can use. So yeah, this is very, very concerning. And the biggest concern of our FBI is the lone wolf terrorist, the one who's building the bomb in the basement and who doesn't associate it. At Heritage Foundation, for instance, we've tracked that there have been more than 50 terror plots in the United States since 9/11, and that includes something like Fort Hood, where that Army major was self-radicalized and was in contact with terrorists overseas via the Internet.
And General Clark, you were saying there's threats every day. I mean, in
every
terms
day.
of our air
every
safety.
day, and we're still being probed and we're still being tested. And so this is a long way from being over, but I think we definitely turned a big corner when we took down Osama bin Laden. And we've got effective means of going after these organizations. It's just that it's continuous.